Hello and welcome. You know how you can grow yams in one part of Nigeria, but not really in another? Or why cattle seem to do so well up north, but not so much down south? Well, the answer to all of that is a topic called agricultural ecology. And trust me, mastering this is your secret weapon for acing your WAEC, NECO and JAMB exams. Today, we're going to break it all down. How farming and the environment are totally connected, so you can walk in that exam hall ready for anything. Let's do this. So here's our game plan for today. First, we'll cover the basics. What is this topic and why is it so important? Then we're going on a virtual tour of West Africa's ecological zones to see what grows where. After that, we'll really dig into the nitty-gritty environmental factors. And you know what's next? We're going to put all this knowledge into action by solving actual past questions. To wrap it all up, we'll have a quick summary and some killer tips to make sure you lock in those high scores. Sound good? Okay, so what in the world is agricultural ecology? At its core, it's all about relationships. Seriously, think of a farm like a football team. You've got your crops as the players, right? The soil and the rain, that's your stadium. And the pests, they're the opposing team trying to score against you. Agricultural ecology is just the study of how all these things, the players, the stadium, the opposition, interact to give you the final result, your harvest. But why does this topic matter so much, and why do the examiners love it? Well, it's because this isn't just about farming. It's about our survival. For real, when farmers understand this, they can choose the right crops and animals. And what does that mean? More food on the table for everyone. Plus, it's all about farming in a way that protects our environment for the future. So yeah, this isn't just some random theory for an exam, it's about the future of food in Nigeria. Okay, buckle up. We're about to take a little trip right across West Africa, but you don't even have to leave your seat. We're diving into major ecological zones. Just think of them like different, let's say, neighborhoods. Each one has its own unique climate, its own personality, and its own set of rules for what can grow there. We're talking from the super dry Sahel all the way down to the wet coast in the south. Now, this table right here breaks it all down perfectly. As we go down the list, I want you to imagine we're traveling from the north of West Africa to the south. We start up in the dry Sahel. Now, as we move down through the Sudan and Guinea savannas, I want you to look at that rainfall column. See what's happening? That number just keeps climbing. It goes from around 600 millimeters, jumps up to 1500 millimeters, and then boom, it just explodes in the rainforest. Honestly, this change in rainfall is the number one thing that defines these zones. And to really make this stick, let's look at the two extremes side by side. It's like night and day. On one side, you've got the Sahel. It's hot, it's dry, and only the absolute toughest plants can make it there. Then on the other side, you've got the rainforest. It's super wet, humid, and just bursting with dense forests. You can see why trying to use the same farming methods in both places would be a total disaster, right? It just wouldn't work. So here's where it all connects back to agriculture. This is the part you really need to know. Each zone has its own special products. The super dry Sahel, it's perfect for tough grains like millet and sorghum and for livestock like cattle and goats. But then you go down to the wet rainforest and everything changes. It's all about tree crops like oil palm, rubber, and cocoa. Seriously, pay close attention to this because matching crops and animals to their zones is a classic exam question. It comes up all the time. Okay, so we've covered the where, the different zones. Now let's zoom in on the specific factors that farmers have to deal with every single day. For your exams, you absolutely have to remember these three main groups. We've got abiotic factors. Those are the non-living things, then biotic factors, which are all the living things, and finally, edaphic factors, which is just a fancy word for everything related to the soil. Alright, let's kick things off with the abiotic or non-living factors. Let's take rainfall, for example. A farmer up in Sokoto is probably praying for rain to avoid a drought, right? But at the same time, a farmer down in Port Harcourt might be worried about too much rain causing floods. See? Same factor, different problems. And it's not just rain. Temperature controls how fast crops grow. And humidity, oh, especially in the south. High humidity can be a nightmare, creating the perfect conditions for nasty fungal diseases to thrive. Next up, the biotic factors. These are all the living things on the farm. And you've got your good guys and your bad guys. The villains, pests that munch on your crops, and diseases that can wipe out a whole poultry farm in no time. And don't forget weeds. They are like little thieves, stealing water and nutrients from your plants. But we also have heroes. Think about earthworms. They are like little free farm workers, digging through the soil and making it better for the plants. A good farmer has to know how to manage this whole cast of characters. And last but not least, we have the edaphic factors. Remember, this is all about the soil and the shape of the land. So you've got different soil types. Sandy soil, water just runs straight through it, which isn't great for crops that need a lot of water. Clay soil holds on to water, sometimes a little too much. Now, think about the land itself, the topography. If you have a farm on a steep slope and it rains heavily, what happens? All that good topsoil can just get washed away. That's erosion, and it's a huge problem. Okay, you've soaked up all the theory. Now it's time for the most important part, turning that knowledge into exam marks. This is where the magic happens. We're about to dive into real past questions from JAMB, WAEC, and NECO so you can see exactly how they test this topic. Don't worry, you've got this totally. Alright, first question straight out of a JAMB paper. It asks, the ecological zone in West Africa best suited for cocoa production is A, B, C, or D? Take a second. Think back. What does cocoa need to grow well? What did we say about its climate? Go on, pick your answer. Okay, let's break down how to solve this. Step 1, always get rid of the answers that are clearly wrong. Sahel and Sudan savanna? No way, it's way too dry there for cocoa, so that's A and B gone. Step 2, what does cocoa actually need? We know it's a thirsty crop. It loves high rainfall and high humidity. Step 3, match the crop to the zone. Which of the remaining zones is super wet and humid? Of course, it's the rainforest, so the correct answer is C. Simple as that when you follow the steps. And here's a major exam tip for you. I want you to burn this into your brain. Always connect the crop or animal to its zone. If the exam asks about a crop that needs tons of rain, like cocoa or oil palm, your mind should immediately jump to the rainforest. If it's about something that can handle a drought, like millet or sorghum, you should be thinking Sahel or Sudan savanna. It's a mental shortcut that works every time. Okay, let's move on to a typical theory question from WAEC. Now, with these questions, the most important thing you can do is read it carefully. Look here, it's a two-part question. Part A says to list 6 factors, Part B says to explain 5 of them. So many students lose easy marks because they only do one part or they mix them up. Don't fall into that trap. So here's how you get full marks on this. For Part A, when you list your 6 factors, don't just list climate stuff like rain, sun, wind, no. To really impress the examiner, pick from all 3 categories we talked about: abiotic, biotic, and edaphic. For Part B, your explanation has to be clear. Don't just say pests affect crops. That's too vague. You have to explain how. Say something like pests like stem borers feed on maize stems, which reduces the plant's yield. See that? Cause and effect. That's where the marks are. And please, please, please avoid this super common mistake. I see it all the time. Students will just list climate factors: rain, sun, temperature, wind. That's not enough. The examiner wants to see that you have a complete picture. To score high, you have to include biotic factors like pests and diseases and edaphic factors like soil type and topography. It shows you really understand the whole topic. All right, on to our NECO question. Now, this one is what I call a gift. It's a straightforward recall question. It takes us right back to that table we studied. It asks you to name 3 ecological zones and give 2 agricultural products for each. If you've studied, these are some of the easiest marks you're going to get in the entire exam. And when you answer this, structure it just like this. Keep it clean, keep it simple. State the zone and then list the products. For example, Guinea savanna, yam, maize. Next line, rainforest, oil palm, cocoa, and so on. Don't write a big, long paragraph. Just give the examiner exactly what they're asking for. Nice and clear. Excellent work. You've seen the concepts. You've seen how they pop up in exams. You are getting so ready for this. Let's just do one final super quick summary to make sure all these key points are locked in your brain for exam day. Think of this table as your last-minute cheat sheet. It's all about patterns. Look, Sahel, you can grow millet, but your main problem is drought. Rainforest, great for oil palm, but you have to fight diseases from all the humidity. Mangrove swamp, you can grow rice, but you are dealing with salty, flooded soil. If you can remember these connections, the zone, its product, and its main challenge, you'll be in fantastic shape. And to wrap it all up, here are my final top tips. Number 1, always connect the crop or animal to its zone. Number 2, use the proper scientific terms. Don't just say living and non-living things. Say biotic and abiotic. It makes you sound like you know what you're talking about. Number 3, for any theory question, back up your points with a clear example. It makes your answers so much stronger. So, at the end of the day, remember this. Understanding agricultural ecology isn't just about getting a good grade. It's about understanding how our country feeds itself. It's about our future. If you found this lesson helpful, do me a favor. Hit that like button, share it with your friends who are also preparing for their exams, and definitely subscribe so you won't miss the next one. And for thousands of free practice questions, visit www.examkp.com. You are ready for this. Let's go and smash these exams together.